This is Gamer Weekly, bringing you the latest of what the video game scene has to offer. On today's episode of Gamer Weekly, I have Logan Apple, and we'll be talking about his latest game, Shadows. Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode of Gamer Weekly. Before we get started, I just want to let everybody know here real quick, I am available now on another platform. You can now listen to Gamer Weekly on Google Play. So all 7 of you that listen to podcasts on Google Play, guess what? All 7 of you will not miss a single episode of the show. And with me today is Logan Apple of Logan Apple.
Hey there, everybody. Thanks for having me here.
So thank you so much for coming on to the show. First off, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Hey, my name is Logan Apple. I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior currently attending school in Northern Virginia. And I've been developing games since I was about 12 years old, and I just recently released my newest platformer onto Steam.
And so your latest game that you have created is Shadows. So can you tell us a little bit about Shadows? What is Shadows about?
Sure. Shadows is a puzzle platformer set in a mysterious and silhouetted world. The goal is to try and understand your past and find your way out of the caves. You do this by constructing a beacon using all of the different items that are hidden around in different caverns and areas within the caves below. Your goal, in essence, is to make this beacon, find your way home, and once that's all finished, that's kind of the conclusion of the game. The big point of it was to be a really beautiful, creative game where puzzles were based on the idea of balancing light and darkness. So you collect fireflies along the way, and these play in to puzzles that will guide you along your path.
And so the game, the look of it has a very strong, like Limbo meets Super Meat Boy look to it. Was that intentional?
Yeah, especially on the Limbo aspect. I wanted this to be a very minimalist sort of style, at least in terms of color palette. Grays and blacks and whites. The only thing that's in color are the fireflies. This was done intentionally to sort of correlate with the memories that you're finding, the pieces of your past.
And so what did you use to create this game?
I used a tool called ClickTeam Fusion Developer 2.5, and it was a very useful tool. And then I decompiled the result into C++ and made some intricate changes, notably to graphics, just to make it look better, make do some fine tuning, all that stuff.
And it's currently in early access. So what are you wanting to add to the game later on? Because the game came out December 22nd, and right before the Steam sale was starting up. And what are you wanting to add to Shadows later on?
Yeah. So early access was done to allow the community to really get involved with the game. I'm new to game development, especially on the desktop platform for PCs, all that stuff. So I really wanted to get community feedback. I wanted to make this a game that players will really enjoy playing. So I have a variety of different ways that people, when buying from early access, can give some feedback, whether this is Reddit or on the Twitter or via email. And so I'm hoping to add a bunch of new details and features that people can enjoy and will ultimately make the game a better experience. A big part of this is adding in multiple endings to the game, which was something I had considered early on, but have really decided to go ahead with thanks to the feedback from a bunch of people who said, this is a really great idea, go ahead with it. And I was like, sure. So now, however many memories you collect and the order you collect them, among other details in the game, will lead you to different paths and different endings.
And so how exactly did you come up with the game?
The game started about a year ago, actually as a school project more than anything else. And at first, I hadn't really considered taking it any farther than that, but I really began to see ideas for this game. I came up with some thoughts on what I could do for different puzzles, different ways of making the game very much like major platformers that you see nowadays. And I thought, the whole Firefly idea is kind of unique. I haven't ever seen it before, and I wanted to take that somewhere further. So I began working on the game, developing it, and I did a really closed early alpha with a bunch of friends a couple of months ago. Yeah, about a few months ago. I think it was in August, September. And they tested out the game, and they said, this is really cool. Have you thought about publishing it somewhere other than your own website? And I thought, well, it'd be really awesome if I could get it on Steam, but I'd have to go through Steam Greenlight. I have to do a lot of planning on that part. Get marketing ready to go, advertisements, get people involved and ready to publish the game. Contact YouTubers, see if anybody's interested in doing an early playthrough. And so I decided, sure, I was gonna go ahead and do it. I thought I had a very unique and interesting game, and I thought, cool, I'll develop this over the next few months, show it to people on Steam Greenlight. If the community likes it, I'll go ahead even further. And they did.
So you said you messaged YouTubers. Has anybody gotten back to you yet about it?
Yeah, actually, I think one of the major reasons it got through Steam Greenlight was because of a YouTuber named Mr. Hopkins. MF Pallytime is his YouTube username. He said, certainly, I'd love to do a video on it. I'd been watching him for a while now because of a game, Heroes of the Storm. It's Blizzard's new MOBA, and I've really been a tad addicted to it. I've enjoyed it, though. And he was like, yeah, I'd be more than happy to take a look at your game. And he said, I'll make a video of it. And it was published on Halloween, I think, on that Monday. And it got more than 18,000 views. And that really helped Steam push it past Steam Greenlight and get the game approved by the community.
So what was your initial reaction when you saw that your game got approved for Steam Greenlight?
I was shocked, in disbelief, honestly. I mean, you sort of expect it. Like, I wasn't going to put it up there expecting it to be a failure, but at the same time, it's that sort of, oh my goodness, it actually happened. I was beyond excited, and I kind of surprised because it seemed to come, like, it came so suddenly. Like, I checked my email, and then suddenly there's an email from Steam saying, you got greenlit. And I was like, whoa! And I told everybody as quickly as I could, I was like, look, Shadow's got greenlit. We're going ahead with it. And it was absolutely miraculous.
It was like, Mom, get the camera, please. We got to take a picture of this. This is the best moment of my life. Mom, get the camera! So it's crazy that you're 17 years old and you have a game that is published on Steam. I mean, like, when I was 17, I was in marching band and was hoping that a girl would like me. And, like, you're doing stuff that is just, like, absolutely crazy. So, like, for learning how to code games, like, was this a class that you took at your school, or was this something that you learned, like, on your own time?
I started when I was 10. My mom signed me up for a class in, like, basic, like, game programming at Arizona State University. We happened to be over there because she had some business, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a basic class teaching you the simple parts of coding over the course of, like, a week. And from there, I taught myself the rest of what I know. And I just kept programming, and I made games and tools and apps and a bunch of other fun things, and I really enjoyed it. And so here I am now.
Because you got your start doing apps for the iPhone. And
Yes.
So what would you say are the pros and cons of going from making apps to making games on Steam?
I would say making apps is far simpler, without a shadow of a doubt. Once you've made one app, the rest of them sort of fall into place. And mobile games don't have to be particularly detailed, but there's a completely different standard for what is out there, especially for Steam, which it's a huge international platform. They expect, high quality games. You have to get the community, like, on board, people ready to go. With mobile apps, it's sort of like, you advertise it to a bunch of people. If they get addicted to it for like a week, congratulations, it's a bit of a success. And this, it's continual. You have to really keep working at it, make it a better game, and develop it so that it's successful in the long term, more than just the short term, which I think really marks a distinction between desktop games versus mobile games.
And so would you prefer doing Steam now, since now that you have a game on there?
I'd say so. I mean, like, I've really enjoyed the process so far. I mean, all things considered, it's been incredibly busy, but at the same time, I've really enjoyed just being able to develop and create a game, a project so large that's taken a lot of dedication, a lot of work, and I've really just enjoyed making a high quality product. I think more so than the satisfaction I think you get out of a mobile game. It just, one feels very temporary, the other feels like this is a significant piece of work that I have accomplished over the course of like a year. And it's been absolutely fantastic to work on.
Because you've made more than just games. Like I looked on there on your website, and I saw that there was also like a museum app.
Yes, I do local contracts for other people, companies. Most recently, the Museum of the Shenandoah Valley contracted me to make their app, their mobile app, which is currently available on iTunes, and I'm working on getting it ready for Google Play. There were a few issues with that for a couple of months, and luckily, I have figured out what the problem was, and we're looking to release it in the new year. This was just a little thing. It's a local children's museum that they do science and math-based stuff, and it's a part of almost everybody I know's childhood, having grown up in the local city. And they approached me saying, "We've heard about your work. Would you be willing to do our app?" And I said, "Certainly, I'd love to." I've also done most of my app development, major app development, has been for the science fair more than anything else. Notably, last year, or actually this year, it just feels like last year, I won third place internationally for my work in developing the world's first mobile ASL to English translator. That's American Sign Language into English.
That is, I'm completely dumbfounded by this. Like, this is awesome. Like, I had no idea when I found you on Steam, like, that you did all this stuff. Like, that's absolutely crazy. And it's awesome that, like, that you're so, like, in the world, like, learning and stuff too. Like, that's really cool that you're bringing that kind of stuff to it. It's definitely at, like, such a young age too. Like, that's absolutely, like, that's baffling to me. So, so if you guys, I know this is going to be a bit of a shorter episode of Gamer Weekly, but if you guys want to check out Logan's stuff, go to Steam right now. Check out Shadows. The game's $4. It's in early access right now, but the game's definitely worth checking out. And if you have a iPhone, check out his apps as well. Check out the museum app. You never know. Learning is fun. You know, you should like learning. So, is there anything else you would like to say before we leave, Logan?
I suppose I'd just really like to thank you for having me on here. It's been an honor.
Well, it's been fantastic that you thought it was an honor. So, thank you guys so much for listening to the show. And you can find it on SoundCloud, Podcast Addict, Google Play, iTunes, and I'm hoping that we get on YouTube eventually. You know, I've kind of been going like the complete like backwards route of doing this. So, bear with me, but 2017's looking pretty good. So who knows? Logan, thank you so much for coming on to the show, and goodbye, everybody.